Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of What's on My Desk. And today we are getting freaky again.
I can be a freak. 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 I can be a freak every day of every week.
Now, if you guys are thinking, oh, this is another Ulysse Nardin freak episode, no, it's not. I did talk about the Ulysse Nardin freaks in a separate episode, and I'll put the link up there. You guys can check that out. But I really brought some freaky watches, and indeed, I did bring one freak because nothing describes a freaky watch better than the Ulysse Nardin freak itself. So I'm going to start with the Ulysse Nardin freak. Right off the bat, the first thing anybody that sees a freak for the first time or second time or the third says, this is a really freaky watch. What is going on here? Well, the freak Diablo, first of all, let me tell you about where the name Diablo came. If you look in the back of the watch, you'll sort of notice these two red horns. This around the only opening of the back of the movement that shows you the power reserve, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But the two horns on either side make it look like the devil's horns, and therefore it is called the Diablo. So what is about the freak that makes it freaky? Well, everything. Everything about the freak is freaky. You'll notice that you have a single hour hand that rotates around the dial. I guess let me flip the watch right side up. You know, it's so freaky you can't even tell which way is up, right? And what happens, you have the balance wheel as well as the tourbillon that rotates around the dial. The mechanism that makes it rotate is actually on the one side of the big hand, and then the tourbillon cage is on the other. Now, what you'll notice is that this is also your seconds display on the bottom of the huge freaky hand. What else is freaky about this watch? Well, how about the fact of how you wind it? If you flip the watch over, you'll notice that in order to wind the watch, you have to move the back of this watch. As I turn this, you'll notice the window move. And as the window moves, you'll notice that those springs within the power reserve will also change position, show you just how much power you have in the watch. And that's what I was discussing later. How do you change the time of this watch? Also freaky. You flip this guy up and you turn the bezel. And that's what's going to turn that giant hand and in turn change the time. Pretty darn freaky, right? Again, lots of innovation that went into the making of this watch. They use a lot of traditional watchmaking, and every time they talk about traditional watchmaking in regards to any other piece that they make, they say, except the freak, and that's what this watch is about. This watch breaks all the rules. This is just Nardin's way, and I guess it's been about 10 years since they made the first freak. This was Ulysse Nardin's way of saying, hey, you know what, we can get away from traditional, we can make things that are different. Now, technically, this is also an orbital tourbillon because the tourbillon turns, but I think in my previous episode, I discussed the Jaeger Sonnery orbital tourbillon. This is a case, and in that case, the orbital tourbillon is on its own, where in this case, it is attached to the hour hand, and it rotates with the hour hand as the hour hand rotates 24 hours. According to Ulysse Nardin, the case of the watch actually has more parts than the movement itself. Reportedly, there are 50 parts that make up the actual case and less parts that make up the movement, which is pretty cool if you ask me. Again, really, really freaky. But anyway, enough about the freak. Let's move on to something that's freaky, and that is a red NTPT diamond version of the RM3502 Rafael Nadal. Why is this freaky? Well, let's look at it. Okay, I've talked about Rafael Nadal watches. I've had the original Baby Nadal on these episodes. I have the RM01. I had the RM3501 and the 02. Again, this is the 02. The difference between the 01 and the 02 is the fact that this is an automatic versus the other one being a manual wind. I've talked about NTPT, Nordplin Applied Technologies, a company that Richard Mille has exclusive in making this TPT material for, which is extremely lightweight. This watch weighs maybe 15 grams on a Velcro strap. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Red TPT, very loud, and they do have this version without the diamonds. Then it went and took it a step further, and they set diamonds in the watch. Now, don't take that lightly. It is extremely difficult to set diamonds into a material other than a metal, whether it's gold or platinum or stainless steel for that matter, or silver. And TPT is sort of a plastic, right? I mean, how do you set diamonds in plastic and make sure they don't fall out? I don't have the answer to that question. On this watch, the reason I kind of dubbed it freaky is because it looks kind of freaky. I mean, the red TPT material alone made the RM3502 pretty freaky, and I'll pop that picture up on the screen. Then with the addition of diamonds being a skeleton on a Velcro strap, this is a freak on all of its own. And it just goes to show that Richard Mille is not afraid to be different, to be innovative, or to be freaky for that matter on a watch like this. Because I don't know a whole lot of guys out there that are ready to wear a watch like this. Of course, except for me. I don't mind wearing freaky stuff. I like diamond pieces for men. I've told you guys before, I often wear a full diamond Royal Oak. You've seen it before. To me, this is indeed a freaky watch, but it's certainly something that's different. Certainly something that is eye-catching. Let me put this on my wrist. $200 and some $1,000 watch, Velcro strap. Again, I don't mind that at all. I think it's actually extremely comfortable to wear with the Velcro strap. So here's this guy on the wrist. Again, still looks pretty freaky, but nevertheless different. And the key is just that, different, not like the rest that I heard. This is why Richard Mille today trade over sticker price to include this RM 3502 red TPT diamond bezel, diamond case piece. Last but not least, as freaky as this watch is, once again, impossible to find, all sold out. If you go to the boutique today, try to buy one of these, they may or may not put you on the waiting list of 17,000 years, and you may or may not get one. But nevertheless, another freak. Save the freakiest of the best for last, I should say. And as I pick this guy up, you guys are saying to yourself, what the hell is this? Well, let me give you a closer look. It looks like a big, heavy platinum diamond bracelet, doesn't it? Well, this is not a bangle diamond bracelet or cuff. This is actually a Harry Winston watch. And I'm going to start by opening this. This might be hard to do one-handed, but let me try. As I flip that out, you'll notice that indeed this is a Harry Winston piece. This thing actually turns. I don't know what the reasoning behind that is. I guess so you can just play around with it, maybe that's the case, but nevertheless, it's a pretty cool thing. This is one of those this is one of those Jouellerie pieces that companies tend to make every year or every couple of years just to wow the world, so to speak. This is made in traditional jewelry style that you would see on Harry Winston jewelry pieces. If you look at the design of the actual bracelets, how everything intertwines in the use of mixed diamonds such as baguettes and regular round diamonds, you would say to yourself, wow, this is a beautiful Harry Winston jewelry piece. And indeed it is. It was made to be a jewelry piece first and foremost from Harry Winston with all the markings of Harry Winston's in terms of design and heritage and so on, but at the same token it was made into a watch. And again, Audemars Piguet does it all the time. Culture does it. All major manufacturers, they'll make this hot jewelry or high jewelry timepieces from time to time. In a nutshell, show off. And this is what these pieces are all about. They usually carry an astronomical retail value. This watch originally sold for $2 or $2.1 million, believe it or not. And they don't really hold their value very well because they set the price tag on these pieces high for a reason, because just to sort of give the buyer that feel that, oh, I bought something super special, super expensive, but these high jewelry pieces tend not to hold their value very well. And we're selling this watch for less than half price, I believe. I mean, they do hold value somewhat. It's not like this watch is 10 cents on a dollar or anything like that, but you know, they tend to drop below that half price marks once they hit the secondary market, because it's very difficult to find a buyer, a female buyer, for a watch such as this. It's a heavy watch because it's made in platinum, because of the construction of the case of the watch. And let me show you that a little bit closer so you guys can get appreciation for the baguette diamonds and how they're set. Look at that. So again, not an easy piece to sell. These are pieces that are often used at big shows such as Baselworld, SIHH, some of the other huge watch and jewelry shows around the world in places like Dubai or Moscow, New York, etc. And this is a huge show-off piece. And those that buy it usually buy it for that very reason, the fact that this is a show-off piece. Now, the difference between Harry Winston and let's say that of an Audemars Piguet high jewelry piece or any other brand for that matter is Harry Winston is first and foremost a jeweler, and his jewelry is extremely collectible. So pieces like this are actually a bit easier to sell, and the reason for that is because there's a lot of collectors out there that collect and hold on to Harry Winston jewelry that goes up in value over time, believe it or not. So the fact that this carries the Harry Winston name would make it a better seller, I should say reseller, because again, there's some Harry Winston pieces that have hit the auction houses where the original price on the piece of jewelry may have been 10 grand and they've gone over $500,000 or $50,000. Again, astronomically, vintage Harry Winston jewelry does resell and resells extremely well, much like Cartier pieces, Van Cleef pieces, and some of the other iconic jewelers out there like David Webb or Boucheron. So why did I dub this the Freaky Watch? Well, you guys tell me. I mean, even though the Freak carries the name Freak, and although the Richard Mille is a little freaky looking with the red TPT and diamonds, I still feel like the Harry Winston is the bigger freak of them all. You can't really even tell that this is a watch. It's something that you have never seen before. You've seen many freaks, you have seen many Nadal variations of the Richard Mille, but I guarantee you've never seen anything like this, and this is why I decided to bring this to this episode of All Things Freaky. I'll take your vote. Tell me what you think the freakiest watch on this episode was, and I'll certainly read your comments and respond as I do usually. But again, my vote is on this crazy $2 million Harry Winston, if you ask me. Last but not least, I'm going to show you what's on my wrist. Is this freaky? Yeah, I guess it's a little bit freaky. This is a Hublot King Power date time watch only. This was from the era where the Big Bang novelty was sort of starting to wear out, and they came out with the King Power, which is the bigger and thicker case. Was never really a good seller, was never really a good reseller for that matter. Today you can find these pre-owned probably 25 to 30 cents on the dollar. Sometimes you find deals on them brand new at that price. But I still like the watch. It's a big, mean, black looking watch, and it's comfortable on the wrist. And again, I like to wear bigger watches. This is really a bit too big for me, but nevertheless, it sits well on my wrist, so it's comfortable. So I'll kick this around for a few. Guys, thanks for tuning in once again. If you like this video, hit that like button, comment below, let me know what you think. Vote on the freakiest watch that I just discussed. If you're not subscribed to my channel and you are watching this, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. That will let you know when new videos come out. Other than that, I'll see you guys next week for more watch reviews and other videos.
I can be a freak every day of every week.